Hi, I wanted to welcome you to the Divorce Planning Podcast. I'm Carri Goldring, and I'm in the mortgage business, and I do planning pre-divorce for people who are either going to refinance their home, do an equity buyout, or plan to purchase a new home and make sure that everything in the divorce decree is worded properly and the numbers in the planning is taken care of so that you can go through the underwriting process smoothly. And I would like to introduce you to other people who are interested in the divorce planning process so you can get a real education of what's involved. Hope you enjoy. Hi, today I want to welcome Kathey Batey. She is going to talk to us about support groups. And you primarily work with people contemplating divorce, going through divorce. What's your main target, Kathey?
Typically, it is those who are currently going through divorce. I've had people actually 5 years after divorce say, I haven't resolved all the issues, but typically a few before they jump into divorce, but typically it's those who are in the throes of divorce.
And it's so nice to have that support group because it's really hard, as I'm sure you know, to talk to people when you're kind of in the midst of things. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, and then if you would explain to us your support group and see if others might be interested in signing up.
That'd be awesome. Well, thank you, Carrie, for having me this morning. And my name again is Kathey Batey, and I am a domestic mediator, court-appointed domestic mediator. I'm also a divorce coach, and then I hold support groups. And I think we're focusing mostly on support groups today. So
Yeah.
our program is called Divorce Support Anonymous, and we spend 10 weeks together. It is hybrid. So I have people from all over the country and some out of the country, actually, who just need to be able to process in a safe space the trauma that they are going through. So when you hear someone else articulate your pain, you realize that, wow, this is normal. I'm not crazy. I am not distraught. I am going through the normal emotions of what divorce brings. So that
Right.
is helpful to
And
people.
I think it validates your feelings because sometimes you feel bad for feeling bad, right? And you
Yes,
feel like you have to be so strong for your family and other people around you, and you have to work out so many details that sometimes you just need validation for falling apart.
absolutely. Absolutely. And as you should be grieving this trauma. I continue to call it a trauma because after 19 years of working with people, I continue to believe that it is a trauma, a life trauma. So it's very helpful to be in a group and to have people who get what you're going through.
So how many people would join a group?
Typically, I like it about 10 and 12. Ever since COVID, they have been smaller in person. And I don't
Mhm.
know what happened to all of us through COVID, but we just had a paradigm shift of where we're going to show up physically, and we want Zoom a lot. So I've been doing those as well. So 10 to 12 is the ideal number.
And then do you typically have the same people come back to the same group, or could you log on and see different people all the time?
It is the same people typically, and I'm open all 10 weeks. So you can't time these things. So if we're on week 5, in fact, I was communicating with a woman today who is going to join us tonight. I hold the groups on Tuesday night, and you can't time these things. So typically it's the same people that come in and stay with me for the 10 weeks.
That's so nice. And then everybody has a chance to talk and share and
Yeah, and it's amazing, Carrie, just to watch the bonding that happens.
I
I would,
bet.
yeah, you'll never forget the people you were in the trenches with, and you'll never forget the people that you went through divorce support with. So it's just a beautiful thing to watch the bonding and people connecting and supporting each other. And
You
we
almost new friends during that time, whether you keep them or you don't, but it's kind of nice just to detach yourself from your normal and know that nobody else knows anyone in your world, right?
Yes, yes. And I put out the guidelines right in the beginning that we're going to have this a safe space because that's just so important, that there's a confidential place where you can go and again process through what is happening to you.
Right. It makes sense. It kind of reminds me almost as like when you're pregnant and you're doing your birthing class and then everybody has babies at like the same time and you
Mm.
start talking about how you're feeling and what you're thinking and you do your play dates and you kind of start developing, all your joy and misery with the same people.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely helpful. So we start with emotions. I have 4 stages that I go through, and we start with emotions because we know that that's going to trip us up.
Mhm.
Talk about anger, we talk about loneliness, we talk about betrayal, and all of those emotions that come, excuse me, with divorce. And then we talk about the decisions. So as we go through divorce, there are those life-changing decisions that we have to make. And so we talk about them. Should I keep the house? Can I keep the house? Can I afford to keep the house? And you know, Carrie, in your line of work, how important that is that we,
Right.
excuse me, separate our emotions and really look at the facts and the numbers so that we are not sabotaging ourselves in the future.
Right. And it's confusing enough for people who aren't going through any trauma to do that, let alone when you're going through all this emotional stuff on top of every other thing that you're going through. It's a lot.
Yes, it really is. And there are so many ways in which we can make it even more complicated with the decisions that we make. And financial is one of those huge areas where people are need the advice. They need someone to guide them, as you do, in
Right.
these huge financial decisions because they've never been here before. And then they have the legal, they just have so much on
Too
them.
much. It's
Yes,
a very powerful fire hose for sure.
yes.
And
And
it's
so,
so nice that you do what you do, and then you have that background and that knowledge that I think a lot of people that run support groups don't have. So I think that makes it nice too, because when someone brings up an issue, you're not just learning about it from your people, you know it.
yes, yes. And 19 years teaches you that for sure. And then I also, just so I don't forget to mention, I do have a free resource
Oh,
that
good.
I send to people. It's called Seeing Your Attorney for the First Time.
Oh, I
And
like it.
yeah, this workbook I have sent out to many, many people. What it does is it helps organize you before you go into an attorney's office. Because if you just jump into an attorney's office, you're going to spend a great deal of time going through what you could cover ahead of time in this workbook. Is going to tell you all the documents you need to get together. It's going to talk to you about the mediation process, give you some parenting plans to review, and really just empower you as you go through this and save you a whole lot of money.
For sure. And if nothing else, I mean, just to kind of have the idea in your head or to kind of understand it. So when someone starts talking to you about it, they're not blindsiding you. That's fabulous.
Yeah, it's proven to be very, very helpful for people. I just need your email address. It's too large of a file to send through Messenger. I don't pester you after I receive your email address. I simply send this to you. You won't be getting newsletters from me or any other information, but I just want people to be empowered instead of just jumping into an attorney's office and not having a clue on how this is going to work. And so you're really at a disadvantage. So I want you empowered to be able to meet with your attorney for the first time. Have your documents and say, here's my documents. Now let's get to work.
Right.
Instead of just showing up an emotional wreck and having the attorney guide you every step, which, he's great in law, but he's not your therapist.
For
So
sure. And if he is, he's very, or she is a very expensive therapist, right?
Yes, very
So
much.
should someone email you a request, or what's the best way to get this from you?
They could. You can find me. I'm pretty easy to find. My website is divorcesupportanonymous.com. You can connect with me through there or email me. It's my name. I'll give you the shortest one, which is Kathey Batey at AOL.com. It's an old one. Don't judge me. I have an AOL.
And let me just say that it's KatheyBatey. So everybody gets that correct. And then in the subject line, what's the best thing to put so you know what to send them?
Just request workbook.
Wonderful. I think that would be great. And are you always opening new support groups if people are interested in doing that?
I do them 3 times a year,
Okay.
and I'm on week 3 tonight. So if you need to jump in, you are welcome to do so. We have resources that we use in the support group, and that's a workbook that I have, Divorce Support Anonymous. That's the 4 stages of divorce. And then I have also some other books that you receive. One of them is 30 Days of Healing After Divorce. And then I also have a Suddenly Single series. So we have lots of resources for folks to get through this difficult and messy transition.
Wow. I wish I had that when I was going through my own. It sounds so fabulous.
Thank you.
And
I
is
would,
it I was going to ask, is it only for adults? Because I always wondered, do kids do support groups or learn about divorce?
yes, well, I don't deal with children. There is a wonderful program called DC4K, and that's DC, the letter 4K, that may be available in your area. I don't see them as regularly as I used to, but that is specific to the children. I also have a seminar called How Not to Screw Up Your Kids Going Through Divorce. So if you Google that, it will come to you, or you can request that from me as well. And I interviewed many experts, child experts. One of them is the national director of DC4K. Another is Dr. Kathy Cook, and another child psychologist, and several others who help you so you are not impacting your children as much as is possible with your emotional state. The kids are so close to it, and it's just so easy to share all of this heavy information with them that they are not emotionally equipped to handle.
No, and they see so much. Even when there's some people who wait to have adult children before going through this, and they feel because they're adults, they can talk to them and they really still just want to be kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's so true. And then I talk with people who are considering, should I go through a divorce? Should I stay in my marriage for the kids? And one of the questions I always ask is, what are the children seeing? Are
Right.
they seeing a perverted marriage that's not really a marriage at all? Especially if there's abuse. Please have a conversation with me if that's the case, and I can direct you to people who specialize in that. But I want you to know that you have options if you're in an abusive situation, and some very careful steps need to be taken, but you do have options. You are not stuck if you're in that situation.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for going over everything. Do you think is there anything that you want to add before we wrap up?
Sure. I'd love to say, first of all, thank you, Carrie, for the work that you do that is so specialized in helping people financially through their mortgage, and what an incredible blessing that is. Also, I give an hour free consultation. So if someone says, hey, I just need someone to sort this out with me, I'd be more than happy to do that. If you want to hire me after that as a divorce coach, or come into my support group, or hire me as a mediator for your case, I'd certainly be happy to that. But again, I want you to know that you're not alone in going through this, and you need someone who's going to walk alongside you and guide you through it. So I want to do that. I will also say that all of my information, all of my programs are faith-based. I really do believe that this is a spiritual struggle as much as a financial and a legal and emotional. So if that works for you, I'd love to have you connect with me.
Wonderful. Is there a specific faith that somebody needs to be, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. Just be aware that I am going to have some scriptures there. We are going to pray at the end of the support groups. I've had many people. It's a Christian base. I've had many Jewish people. I've had those of non-faith, and I get that. But somehow these people end up in my support group because they are really needing support. And that's okay. I totally respect wherever your faith is.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. I know we discussed how to get a hold of you. Are you comfortable leaving a phone number as well?
Yes, absolutely. It is area code 810-730-6679.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And again, thank you for your time. I always appreciate what you do and always feel such a great connection to you whenever we talk to each other.
Same here, Carrie. Absolutely. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I'm Carri Goldring, and if you ever have any questions regarding mortgage, feel free to give me a call or send me a text message, 248-420-4524. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.